from Seoul, Korea, and welcome to the Averatec-Intel Classic. This is the largest tournament in Korea, and it is an honor to be here. This is Nick Tasel's plot. And as always, we have some more exciting StarCraft games coming your way in only a few minutes. The lineup for today is going to be Jaedong versus Azang. That'll be a Zerg versus Terran. And after that, we're going to have CJ's Sky High, a Terran player, against Jangbi, a Protoss player. You probably heard of Jangbi. Sky High, a little bit more of a new player. Next, we're going to have Huashin versus Lomo. So mirror matchup, Terran versus Terran. And finally, we're going to have Yellow versus Odin. So another mirror matchup, Zerg versus Zerg. And I think we're going to have some very exciting games here today. We have a lot of well-known players, a lot, well, two underdogs here, but hey, they could prove to make for some exciting games. I think our closest matchup of the day is going to be Yellow versus Odin. Yellow, more of an old-school player, while Odin is more of a new-school player. Not too new school, but, you know, they both have different playing styles, both very aggressive, but aggressive in different ways. I'm really looking forward to that match. And, of course, I'm really excited to be casting any game that involves Jaedong. Jaedong is one of those players who is just infamous. He will go down in StarCraft history as one of the most significant StarCraft players of all time. He is easily, well, let me just put it like this, he's ranked #1 in Kespa. That speaks for itself. So I think Azang's going to have a tough time. The map lineup for today is going to be Colosseum first, Andromeda second, and then if we go to a third game, it's going to be on Othello. So again, these maps, not as new as they were before. I know at the beginning of the tournament I was saying these are new maps, but that's kind of changed now. And it looks like, well, let's just, you know, this tournament's been going on for quite a while now, so these players have had some time to actually practice on some of these maps. But I don't know exactly how these games are going to turn out. I'm looking forward to getting them going. Thank you again to our sponsors at Averatec-Intel for actually making this event possible. Intel's always great at sponsoring all of these esporting events, and definitely check out the Averatec PC. So there's our lineup once again. I've already said it once, but I'll say it again. Azang, a very new player. I think he's going to have a tough time against Jaedong. It doesn't mean he can't win. It just means that his chances are very low. Azang has only been a pro gamer for about 2 months now, so that should give you some idea of you know, just how new he is. And the other games, they might be a little bit closer. I think Sky High, like I said before, will have a little bit of a tough time against Jangbi. Jangbi's a newer Protoss player, but he's just proving to be very, very strong. Very hard to break. Huashin and Lomo, two different styles. Huashin, I've said this before, but I'll say it again, is probably one of the most impressive people to actually sit behind and watch, although I have heard also that Mind and Flash are also very impressive when you watch them in first person. But I just remember watching Huashin at WCG, in the World Finals in Seattle, and I remember sitting behind him, and I just could not believe the speed at which he played. His mechanical skill was just phenomenal, and I've had other pro gamers say the same thing. Both players are in their booths. Looks like Azang has just joined, and Jaedong will probably be joining pretty soon. Okay, yeah, he's just joined now. So this game's going to get going very soon here. Terran versus Zerg. On a map like Colosseum, we could see this go in a lot of different directions. We could see a possible proxy barracks in the middle of the map, although proxy, probably not the most effective way to play on this map since the expansion is in the inside of your base, so to speak, so you don't have to expand out so much as you expand inward. But we could see multiple different builds. Terran do have a lot of different options as to how they can play this map out. I think we'll most likely be seeing an early command center, probably after the first or second barracks. But anything's possible. I'll let the players decide how to play on these maps. Jaedong was seeded because of his, you know, he's so good. There was no real need to put him into the part where he was in the 128-player section of the tournament. So instead, we seeded him later on. So this will be one of his first games in the event, basically. I also casted Jaedong's games at the GSI, and I have to say, he is really, he's a very strong player. He lost against Flash in 3 very, very short games, both players going back and forth with rushes. Jaedong's a player, he can out-macro you, or, you know, he can just out-micro you early on, but he will most certainly out-strategize you. He is very, very talented, and one of my favorite players. So here's their previous records in the tournament. He did go 2-1 in a previous game. Yeah, as you can see, Azang not doing that bad, though. None of the players he's beaten are particularly well-known, but then again, a lot of these newer players are really proving to have some of the most exciting games. just go back and look at some of the previous VODs. You can see that while these guys may be new, they are certainly skilled. It's very hard to become a pro gamer now, harder than ever in Korea to become a pro gamer because the competition is so high. And, you know, I got to say, how will he play against Jdong? I'm not sure. He may go for an early rush simply because he's worried he might not be able to beat Jdong in the late game unless he trusts that his macro skills are good enough. I don't know. We'll find out. Cheers to Team Liquid. If you're interested in finding other English VODs, you can always check on YouTube. I know Clausart puts a lot of those up there. You can also try checking out the TSL, of course, which I believe it's a very nearing the end. I haven't checked on it in the past week, but it's an excellent tournament, and I would certainly recommend that you check it out. Basically, the Star League for all of the foreigners, all of the non-Koreans, sponsored by Razer. Very exciting event. Definitely check that out, too. If you're interested in playing in any competitive format and you want to try out your skills, check out iccup.net. And that's letter I, letter C, and then the word cup.net. It's a very competitive StarCraft ladder. Easily the even pro gamers play on there, as well as top amateur players, top foreigners. It's basically a big cesspool of Gosu-ness. So check that out. All right, well, I think the players are ready, so I believe we'll get this started soon enough. I think. I never know exactly when we're going to start the game. I have to read the commentators' body language. Again, the next map after this one will be Andromeda. Andromeda, also a very interesting map, a macro map, or at least I believe it favors the macro style, but the architecture of it does make for some possible interesting strategies that we could see. So get ready for that as well. Be sure to tell all your friends about this tournament. We want a lot of hits. Oh, it looks like it's about to get going. It has begun. Here is Jaedong at the bottom left, setting his Overlord north, so he will find his opponent later than would be desirable. At the bottom right is our Terran player Azang, the new player on the block. I think, I hate to repeat myself, but I can't say enough just how good Jaedong is. He is so talented. He is so skilled, and his timing is just impeccable. He does many times open up with 9 pools, so he can be very aggressive, but he's also more than capable of playing a more standard style fast hatchery. I'm interested in seeing how he'll play on this map. I don't think rushing with Zerg necessarily is a good idea on a map such as this one, simply because, well, Terran can wall in, as we see right now. Terran is going to wall in because the entrance is so small. So let's see. It looks like the Overlords are on the way, so we're probably going to see a fast hatchery. Oh, and I think we're getting a shot at me now. This is the part where I look in the camera and talk to you guys. Actually, I think I should have shaved my face. I look a little bit like Wolfman today. But not enough about me. We got to get back to these games. Zerg versus Terran should be a pretty exciting game. Looks like both players are going to be playing pretty defensively. So we'll have to wait until the action actually picks up here. So indeed, we are going to see the first hatchery put down. This is a map where Zerg could possibly go for the third hatchery before the spawning pool, because Terran are not too likely to rush, simply because Terran do have such an easy opportunity to go for a fast expansion. No spawning pool yet for the Zerg. Looks like he's going to make it now, though. Jdong has not scouted with the drone yet. He may do that pretty soon here, though. Oh, and he will do that now. Scouting pretty late, probably confident that there is not going to be any sort of rush underway. And here's the fast command center for Azang. Note that he didn't make the command center before the Marines, so both players confident they understand each other's styles well enough that they don't need to make any aggressive units. That's a pretty good drawing. Man. Some talented artwork there. Here's a spawning pool, and the extractor is up, so we will probably see a layer very soon. And from there, Jdong will most likely tech to Mutalisks. Taking the lurkers would be a bit illogical on this map, at least in my opinion. Here is the layer now underway. He has not decided to transfer drones. Knowing how many drones to transfer and when to transfer them is a very difficult part of Zerg, because Zerg don't get as many workers as Terran and Protoss do. They produce from the larva, which is the same source that they produce from everything, so they have to really decide how to use their workers. That's normally how you actually beat a good Zerg player, is by trying to harass his workers so that he can't make that many attacking units and has to keep remaking drones. So 3 drones have been transferred here, 1 on the extractor, so we probably will be seeing Mutalisks. It looks like Jaedong's decided to transfer 1 more drone. Now Azang is about to find his opponent. Note that because of the neutral creep on this map, the Zerg can make 1 sunken colony at on that neutral creep and essentially defend. Looks like the Zerglings are going to stop this SCB, so he will not see the fast layer tech. Whoa! Am I seeing things? Am I hallucinating? He's going to go 2 factory against a Zerg, and we're going to see a Hydralisk Den. Now, to be honest, this would be a pretty good maneuver against a Terran player who's meching. I assume that we might see a lurker drop inside the main expansion, maybe because that is such an unlikely move. He will not have predicted it. Essentially, what we're seeing the Terran do is mech, which is not what you normally see Terran do against Zerg. And there's a reason for that. It's because it's generally considered very difficult to pull off. It's a very unforgiving build, and you really lack mobility. However, we have seen top players do it before. I've seen Flash beat Savior with mech. I've even seen, well, I believe mech really started with Yosh, top foreign player, who really just was thinking outside of the box and kept doing this build, and it actually became very popular for a while until Zerg's pretty much figured out how to stop it. Now, obviously our Terran player has to be pretty confident if he's going to go for mech against a Zerg. The Vulture is out, and he will have to retreat. The Hydralisk will deal too much damage, but it's a smart move to make that Vulture. He can harass a few Zerglings, maybe try to get in there, figure out what his opponent's doing. Now, I don't know, in all honesty, if our Terran player is going to be ready for a possible lurker drop, because most of the time, Zergs go for Mutalisks. Now, he did spot the Hydralisk, so he should be somewhat aware of what's going on. And I think, at least I assume that's what he's going to be doing, is a lurker drop. That would make the most sense, I think, at this moment. Yes, it will be. Probably upgrading drop right now. We'll put him in that Overlord. Meanwhile, applying a little bit of pressure to the front of the base with the Zerglings. Looks like, though, he's going to spot the eggs. He knows, he sees the eggs. And the Hydralisks, having an identity crisis, have decided to cancel their lurker upgrade. I'm actually surprised he canceled. Okay, I assume, okay, here he comes now. He's going to put him in the Overlord. And he's going to be dropping over here. We do not have a scanner up. He will not be able to defend this expansion. Here come 2 more lurkers against the burrow. Burrowing now, drawing some attention to the front. Here come the lurkers in the back now. 1 lurker going to burrow here. Meanwhile, no, 2 lurkers burrowing. And clearly he does not have the scanner up yet. Note the angle of the lurkers at this ramp will make it difficult for the Goliaths to get up there. Oh my god, and he's going to put 2 more lurkers into the Overlord and then go into the main. He's attacking the scanner. Is he going to get there? He's got a skin. What are you doing? There goes the skin now. He's going to unburrow and try to move away. But the lurkers are bumping into each other like a bad Three Stooges skit. Okay, here come the lurkers over here. Going down into the main. He's going to split them up so that they can't be hit by every single scan. Maybe not. He's going to put this one right over here. And it looks like he does not have a scan. He has not scanned it yet. Oh my god, I think we could see GG any second here. Oh my god, and another lurker is in here. And he's got a scan. It looks like the scan is ready. Looks like he's going to go in there now. Maybe not. I thought it was going to happen. I think you did too. More units pouring down here. He has scanned the expansion, but the main is still under fire. Jdong will move this lurker down here. Remember, he wants to spread them out so that his opponent will not have enough scans to take them all out. Jdong is making a fool of this Terran player. I cannot believe what I am seeing. This game is about to end. Here comes a massive drop. Hydralisk very strong against Goliath. Another burrow here. Does he have a scan? I'm not sure. Does not look like it. The Goliath's taking a massive amount of damage. I believe the Hydralisk will focus fire the scanner next. No, they're going to micro out of the range of the Goliath. Another expansion already going up. Jaedong is completely out of control this game. He cannot be stopped. And I think this game is almost over unless the Terran can pull a miracle. And now scanning in the back of his base. This lurker will be taken out, but I suspect a drop will go to the main very soon. Now burrowing the lurkers at the ramp. Unbelievable. The command center has been taken out. All of the Jdong fans have a big smile on their face right now in the studio. Azang has been beaten back to a corner. This is probably why you should not mech against the #1 ranked player in the world right now. But hey, I gotta say, it's not that bad thinking out of the box, and I congratulate Azang for taking such a risk. Here comes the lurker burrowing now. Another one. Just hanging out over there. Maybe reading a book. Nope, now he's gonna burrow. And slowly, knowing that his opponent is low on scans, Jdong will leapfrog these lurkers forward until he can eventually close in on the mineral patch. Patches. Patch plural. And pretty much take out his opponent. Jdong has free reign over the map. Now teching the Mutalisks. A wise decision. The Goliath count is now so low that there's really nothing that he can do to stop a massive amount of Mutalisks. And that's normally how you beat a player who's meching, is you go from Hydralisk to Mutalisk, from Hydralisk to Mutalisk, back and forth. And unfortunately, these vultures are not going to be able to get in there because they did take some damage from those lurkers earlier. Note on the minimap, you can see Jaedong actually has his opponent completely surrounded with overlords, or almost completely surrounded with overlords. There's just a few gray areas. It just shows you how much he's dominating. There's no way that the Terran could even get out of his base without being spotted. And I think we're going to see the all-in maneuver here very soon. I think this was smart that Jaedong did this because he knows his opponent has upgraded the Vulture Mine ability, which counters lurkers pretty well. Goliaths are very strong against Mutalisks, but the issue here is that he has so many expansions, he can keep producing Mutalisks and eventually just walk over his opponent, just overwhelm him. Here we have more and more Mutalisks gathering up, and we can see that Azang, that is the maximum amount of factories that you can pump out of, off of without having an expansion. So he's going to try to get as many Goliaths as possible and then move out. And he does have his opponent contained with the lurkers. Here's some more Goliaths. He does have a sizable amount of Goliaths, but I think it's just going to be too... Wow. It was like a super Mutalisk, or at least that's what it looked like for a second. He stacks the Mutalisks together by grouping one of them in with an Overlord or with a Larva. And the reason for that is it makes the Mutalisks stack up, so it's harder to target fire them. Taking a lot of damage there, actually. But the Goliaths are still contained. Now taking to the Hive, so we'll see Guardians shortly. Or we could see Dark Swarm. Both would be very good. And as you can see, yeah, Jaedong just has too much map control. our Terran player trying to send out a Vulture just to get, you know, some scouting done, and not, it's not proving to be effective at all. The Mutalisks are obviously a very powerful unit in StarCraft, very mobile, deal a lot of damage, great at picking off weak units too. We do see +1 for the Goliath's attack. We also see +1 armor for the Mutalisks. And right now, the focus for the Terran is to get rid of these lurkers up here. And nope, he knew it was over. Good game. And well played by Jaedong. Very exciting games there. We got to go into game 2 now. Jaedong versus Azang. There's your winner, Jaedong. The #1 ranked player in the world. So our second map is going to be Andromeda. That should be pretty exciting. Wow, well, Mechan wasn't necessarily bad, but I just don't think you can get away with something like that against Jaedong unless maybe you're, you know, as good as Flash or Mind or something like that. But clearly Azang was confident enough that he knew he should rush in here and, you know, try to do a very aggressive tech build. So I got to hand it to him. You know, definitely award him for creativity, but it just, the execution of it was not good enough. And Jaedong really responded perfectly. I also think the fast lurker drop really worked out on that map. A pretty unorthodox move coming from Jaedong there. Normally you see Mutalisks, but it proved to be effective. So I'm pretty pleased with that game. The studio here is packed. We got a lot of people down here to watch these famous gamers. I am looking forward to casting all of these games. They will all prove to be very exciting. Thank you again to our sponsors at Averatec-Intel for making this possible. Excuse me. Looks like both players have joined the game. I think Azang might have watched that replay really fast. I can see Jaedong from where I am sitting in his booth. He looks more than confident, more than ready to get this game going. So, until then we wait. Our Korean commentators will be wrapping this up in a second. I can see that both players have said they're ready to go. The Observer is ready too. So, I'm curious if Azang will play more standard this game or go with an unorthodox build in an attempt to throw his opponent off. Last game, both players going for pretty unorthodox builds, but they really it just proved that Jaedong's unorthodox build easily countered Azang's. No contest there.